Hello, everybody. Welcome to today's episode of the Create a Life You Love video podcast, where I get to connect with people from all over the world to share tips and strategies to help you on your own journey. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Chantal Cox. I'm an author and transformation coach who empowers motivated professional women who are ready to break free from the bondage of daily stress and anxiety so that they can step into their full potential and create a life that they love. So I'm super excited to be here tonight with Suzanna Mathews. Suzanna is an author, matchmaker, and professional dating coach from the Date Maven. She is going to share with us how we can kickstart our love lives right now. Hey, Suzanna, how are you doing tonight?
Hey, I'm good. Thanks, Chantal.
Awesome. So it is so good to have you here again. You were a guest on season 1 during the initial Thrive Not Survive series. And so we've evolved a little bit.
You certainly have. This is all sophisticated and smooth, and I just hope I'm up to the standard.
Oh, yes, you are, I'm sure. And then just because we did kind of promote it in advance, I wanted to let everyone know that Michael is feeling a little under the weather, so send him lots of positive thoughts. And he's blessed enough to already have kicked off his love and professional life and have a partner that he can tag in last minute.
Right. Yeah. Do I get a bonus for this? Overtime? Yeah, no, I was really looking forward to being able to just sit back and watch him sort of do his magic. He is an outstanding dating coach, very intuitive, very supportive of our clients at the Date Maven. And so I know he's truly sorry that he can't join you tonight, but he is sick. And so, yeah, we're trying to get him to get on the mend so he can join you next time.
Absolutely. Yep. There's many more episodes in the future, so we'll get them in here.
Good.
Awesome. Well, I know where you're joining us from, but go ahead and tell the audience where you are located.
Yeah, so I'm based out of Wichita, Kansas, so right here in the heartland.
Yeah, represent. And I love getting the opportunity to connect and interview people that I do know personally, because it's just kind of a fun opportunity, just as much as connecting with someone I've never met across the world. So
yeah. No, it's neat how what we do intersects so beautifully and so seamlessly.
absolutely. So share with the audience a little bit about your journey. How did you create a life that you love?
Oh, wow. What, in like 40 words or less? I don't know. I mean, it's a constant work in progress, right? I mean, I in no way am I gonna, sit over here and pretend like it's all wrapped up with a bow, Chantal. It is a daily work in progress. And I was thinking a lot. I know that when you and Michael talked about this segment, he was talking about kickstarting your love life. And there's a lot out there about reinvent this and reinvigorate that, renew love and romance, revolutionize this and that. And that's a lot of big words and big promises. And I have a little bit of I'll confess, it's like, those are grand, dramatic sounding things. And sometimes I have to kind of immerse in that language to push myself a little bit, to like not sit back and kind of, rest on my laurels and take it easy. And then sometimes I have a little bit of friction with that language too, because it really implies like we should always be just exploding and light bulbs and chandeliers. And, and sometimes it's also okay to rest. It's also okay to like journey and grow and climb, and then we rest. So that's honestly a big takeaway just from my own journey. I've worked really, really hard over the last decade to build a business, to make good connections and build good relationships in the Wichita community, within the wider matchmaking community, date coaching community. And then also I've really learned, and this has been the gift of COVID, to breathe and rest and take time, to nourish myself and to just allow the lessons to kind of simmer and percolate as well. So I would say that's where I'm at in my journey right now.
That's awesome. And so then with some of the things that you learned and along with the at hand that I'm very excited about, what are tips that you have to help others create a life that they love?
All right. Well, I have 5 tips that I'll share for transforming your romance, kickstarting your romance, however you want to view that. The first one is not an easy one. Spoiler alert. And that is to be willing to start over at any age and any life stage. I work with singles in their 50s, 60s, 70s, really all ages of life, but I have a lot of what I call silver singles who have had the courage to reach out to a matchmaker. And I say courage because it can be hard to be open to changing your relationship in retirement, right? Like that's hard for a lot of us to imagine, but new beginnings are possible at any age and life stage, even if you're a mature person. And I do have to kind of put in a little signpost or a little plug for, I've got a couple of great ladies and gents in their 60s and 70s who they like to dance, they like to socialize, they like to have wine, they like to go to church. They have a really rich, abundant life. So if you're listening and you're watching and you know someone in that age group who is single and maybe hasn't even really been looking because it hasn't felt really safe to go out and have a social life this year, this is your chance to kind of help me play matchmaker and make an introduction to that person and myself, and let's make some love even during a pandemic.
Love it. So I did make a face when you're like, be willing to start over. I'm like, I started over 7 years ago. And then, yeah.
Yeah,
I did. I have started over multiple times since then, and I'm still kicking it. So,
right. No, and I don't, I don't in any way downplay how difficult that can be, because sometimes we feel like, I've done this before, how many more startovers do I really have to churn through before I kind of get to like just land and be comfortable? And so I know that what I'm talking about, it takes a little bit of grit and a little bit of metal and a lot of leaning into the pain, but you really can start over, even as an empty nester, or, if you're living back home with kids again or something like that, you can start over.
It's awesome. Fresh new starts for all of us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, the second, if you're ready for it, do you want the second tip?
Yes.
It's actually really related to the first tip. And that is, I like to say, be willing to make other people uncomfortable. But what I really mean by other people is yourself. Be willing to make yourself uncomfortable. And for a lot of people, that can look a lot of different ways. It could be, I'm uncomfortable with the technology of dating, like dating apps, digital dating, all that. It could be, I'm uncomfortable with how to date safely as we're supposed to be distancing. I've got a lot of how-tos and best practices for that. For a lot of my clients, it's the discomfort of, is that person flirting with me? Or, oh my God, they're flirting with me. Now what do I do? Or it's the discomfort of, well, I'm trying to talk to this person and I don't think they're vibing me. I don't think they're feeling it. So now what? I put myself out there and it doesn't feel good when it doesn't work. So one of the things we really aim to do within the Date Maven is to sort of stand beside our clients and walk alongside our clients in those moments of discomfort, whether it's at a coffee shop or a bar, whether it's on a Zoom date, whether it's picking out a different outfit, something that's going to be really flattering for a first date. So we're really there to sort of usher people through the discomfort, because we know that when you open yourself up and you kind of prepare for all those potential things, the possibility of rejection or the possibility of getting swept off your feet and falling in love, sometimes you just want to I got to go home and Netflix now because it's freaking me out, right? This is really unsafe. I don't know this territory I'm in. And believe me, I think that Netflix is sweet and soft and shiny too. And that's where I like to escape when I'm feeling uncomfortable. But that discomfort, that's our opportunity to dissolve our BS and our psychic sludge. We are facing our fears. Sometimes it's baby steps, sometimes it's giant leaps, sometimes it's boom, I'm like smack up against a limiting belief or behavior that I've been schlepping around through life. But I promise you that on the other side of that ouch, that is where they keep the happy, happy, joy, joy juice. It's over there.
It's awesome. Yes, I'm a huge fan of busting out of our comfort zone.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Step 1 and 2.
that's 1 and 2. Number 3, I think that you'll rah this one. It's about being willing to invest in yourself. So, that can start small. That could be this week it's, well, I think I'll buy that book. And then maybe the next week it's like, okay, I'll sign up for that webinar. And maybe the week after that, it's like, okay, I'm going to join that online program. I'm going to buy that online program. And then maybe by the end of the month, it's like, aha, light bulb moment. All of this would be happening a lot faster and going a lot easier if I were working with a coach. But if you need to start with the book and stair-step your way there, that's perfectly fine. But I do believe that if we value ourselves, if we know our worth, and we know that whatever it is that we desire, that there's help, there's support available to get it, that we can invest in our health and our happiness. I don't think that the things that are the most worthwhile, like long-term relationships, are necessarily free and easy. I do think that there should be enough, joy and enough nourishment in them to kind of keep that carrot dangling in front of us. And okay, I can take the next step forward and I can do the next thing after that. But I always say that, you can either work with a coach now or a therapist later, because, you're going to probably need to invest at one place along the journey or another. The only difference is later, you're all worn out from the crying and the fighting and the gnashing of teeth and the crazy making. And, oh, why do we love each other so much and we drive each other so crazy? So you can invest at either place. It's up to you. It's ultimately your call. But a little bit of time, a little bit of effort, and even sometimes a little bit of money are the necessary investment to get what we want.
100%.
No argument from you?
Nope. Love it.
So the 4th tip that I wanted to share is that it's really, really helpful, if you're doing the number 1 thing of starting over, and the number 2 thing of being in the discomfort, and the number 3 thing of being willing to invest in yourself. The number 4 is really knowing, why do I want the someone or the something that I want? And sometimes the answer is, well, it just feels right. And that might be okay. That might be the right answer. Or maybe not. Some of us have had picker problems in the past, right? So maybe that it just feels right is not where to park it. If we've had picker problems, picker malfunctions in the past, then we may need a little bit of help sussing out our why, why it is we want who or what we want. I always say to my clients that at the beginning and the end of your date coaching program or your matchmaking program, I'm going to ask you the question, 3 questions. Who are you? What do you want? And what do you have to offer? And it's okay if the answers to those change throughout the course of our 3 months or 6 months or a year together. But those are what I will call compass calibrating questions, which is a mouthful. But I want you, if you're going on a date, I want you to look in the mirror and I want you to ask those 3 questions before you put on your lipstick and you walk out the door, or before you comb your hair, straighten your tie, and walk out the door. And the reason I want you to ask those questions is because it centers you in the answer to those. It also helps you to resist the temptation to be potentially inauthentic. And here's the thing that happens in dating situations, and this has happened to everybody. You're like crushing on someone, you're crushing on the person sitting across from you or next to you. And so when you're crushing, it's like you start to sometimes say and do things that are a little weird. Like, why did I do that? Why did I act that way? Hold on a second. Who's on this date? And so that's normal. You wouldn't be the first person to do that. But if you're asking those questions, then you are setting your compass and then you rarely get lost. Does that make sense?
Yes, absolutely. And I do want to make sure that you really touch base on that 3rd compass calibrating question as well. I think that's really important.
Yeah, that's what do I have to give, or what do I have to offer? So often people come to me really, really stuck and focused on well, I want this and not this, and I have to have this, and I demand that, and my boundaries here, and blah, blah, blah. And it's great to know what it is that you need, not just want, because we're not like making lattes to order here, what you need, but also to know what you have to give. Because why does this person who's so perfect and ideal and amazing, why do they want you back? Why are they and how are they magnetizing you back? What is your appeal? What is your gift? What is your service to them? And so really showing up in the spirit of that really helps you to lock in that magnetic energy and to really attract from a place of not just I'm going to take, but also I have something to give.
Absolutely. Yeah. I do think we can get caught in the laundry list of what do I want? But then if you notice, like you're listing, like I want someone who eats well and works out and, takes care of their body and has a great career and a lot of money and owns a house and is debt free and
right.
And then do you do any of them? You're like,
oh, we're trying. I'm working on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's only fair, right? It's balance, and it's a little bit of that like attracts like, although that's their limitations. But so that's my number 4. My number 5. Am I okay to go ahead and go there?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Okay. This one's gonna sound a little woo, but it has honestly made a huge difference in my life, and that is to be aware of how dating and relationship decisions feel in your body. And I don't want to lose the men here. Men, just stay with me here. And that can be anything from how it feels in your body if you think someone's maybe flirting with you or hitting on you, coming onto you. It could be how it feels in your body if you're like trying to break in and talk to a small group of people and they're kind of like giving you the brush off or the nonverbals to buzz off. It could be how do you feel in your body when you're having a really difficult conversation with a partner that feels really risky and unsafe and vulnerable and intimate and so the thing is you can check in, and sometimes we have to train ourselves to really have that awareness because we're not really like taught this in school or by our parents or in our religious congregations or anything like that. You have to really mindfully slow down and pay attention to those psychophysiological cues and just really be attuned to what's happening inside. And I can tell you, as someone with past trauma, I became a grandmaster champion of fleeing my body, of see ya, peace out, dude. If I was in a tough spot, staying really present, I was like, I'm 2 miles away by the time you're wrapping up whatever it is you needed to say. So learning how to stay in those super uncomfortable situations that are about conflict and hurt and ick, it's not easy. And so that's why I saved it for last. it's why I'm dropping it at the end. So being aware of that. And also once you have kind of that power under development, you can also though really use it to protect yourself, right? Like to really be aware of compromising situations or situations that kind of violate or threaten your sense of self or security, boundary violations, disrespect, things like that. Some good things to be aware of if you're really trying to monitor your body is like if something makes you feel constricted or contracted or heavy or weighty or extremely hot or extremely cold, well, then it's probably, kind of a negative interaction, and you need to, kind of be extra mindful of getting through that in a way that's not super triggery and reactionary. If you're feeling light and warm and free and expansive, then you're probably in a loving, liberating interaction or making a loving, liberating decision. So notice your breath, notice your heart rate, and notice your temperature, hot or cold. And that's a way to kind of check in on what's going on in my sympathetic nervous system or my parasympathetic nervous system. And they're always going to give us clues. And again, if you have any kind of childhood trauma or adult trauma, some of this can be a little whack. So it can take some time to kind of calibrate all that.
Absolutely. Yes, being aware of those decisions and then even like reflecting on past decisions that maybe you ignored how you were feeling and then ask yourself, how did that turn out?
Ooh. Bada bing.
Not speaking from experience or anything.
No, of course not. You just pulled that out of thin air. It's okay.
Awesome. Well, these are amazing 5 tips, and I wrote them all down. Anybody watching with us, feel free to drop any comments or questions you have for Suzanna while we still have her on with us, and we can go there. And can I ask you a question?
Absolutely. I would love that.
So, in this time of COVID, and locally here in Wichita, our numbers are just climbing. And there's the fear. I don't know if it's a realistic fear or not, but the fear that we may be heading towards more restrictions again, where things were kind of lightening up. I'm afraid things may potentially restrict back down. So what advice do you have for dating, for the singles out there? What do you do?
Yeah. So, we were actually talking about this on a matchmaker conference call with matchmakers across North America yesterday. And everyone was like, we're all in different cities. So we're all kind of doing different things. My peers in New York, they've been like dealing with this high level for a long time, right? It's only just kind of become more high level here in Kansas. So we're adapting. So one of the things that I really personally would encourage people to do, and of course we're all grown-ups, we all get to make our own decisions, so ultimately we're responsible for our own choices here, but what I am encouraging people to do is to do either a phone call date or a Zoom date or both before meeting in person. And that way you're kind of minimizing your exposure and risk of expanding your bubble to let someone new in. And if people have difficulty with that technology, I can make some recommendations of how to get some help, get some training with that. I've got several friends who are experts in how to Zoom. I can give tips and pointers on how to really give good Zoom, if you will, really show up on Zoom the way you would on a date, with good energy and positivity, and, fix your face and fix your clothes and make sure your background isn't whack, and all that stuff that you would do for a regular date. You want to be as on point for a Zoom date as you would be for a real life date. And one of the great things about that too is in some way it can take some of the pressure off. And if for whatever reason you're just not feeling it, you're just not vibing, you can always kind of say, it's been nice to meet you, and good, all the best to you is whatever you're looking for. You don't feel as much obligation to sort of to see it through as you might feel on a real life date. The other thing that I think is really smart to keep in mind, let's just embrace the awkward. Dating during COVID is going to have some awkwardness. Let's just be grown-ups and just, over communicate. So it might mean during the course of the date, or somewhere thereabouts, saying, hey, so in a normal situation, this would be where I would hug you goodbye and say thank you, but obviously hugging is no right now. So what can I do to let you know I thought you were cool? And that flatters the other person. It compliments them. It lets them know you enjoyed their company, that you would like to hug them, but the lack of a hug isn't lack of interest. Don't misinterpret it that. Or maybe, if you felt like things were heated, there was a lot of flirting, a lot of chemistry, normally this is where I would kiss someone at the end of a date. Maybe instead you're like, you are, just super special, and I really hope we get to chat again soon. I'm gonna blow you a kiss. Mwah. And you just kind of go with the cheesy. You go with the, that cheesy, flirty kind of energy to make up for the fact that you can't do more nuanced, subtle things that you would normally do if we weren't so worried about air particles.
Right. Yeah, those are great tips. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. I'm jealous that you're sipping wine over there. I got my water.
It's just a dark glass.
Oh, it's a dark glass. Okay.
Call me out, girl.
I'm like, come on. I'm like, why was I not better prepared?
I could have been wine. I mean, you know me, so.
That's awesome. All right. So I know that you have kind of a big thing that you are part of that I definitely want you to have time to share, because I think it's so cool. All the things that the people you're getting to partner with, the content that's being provided. So talk a little bit about that.
Yes, I am so humbled and flattered and honored to have been invited to participate in something called Relationship Mastery Summit. It's taking place online on November 21st, and it's a huge conference, but again, it's virtual. So it will be accessed by people all across the globe. They're expecting thousands of people to tune in for this conference, and there will be well over 20 different love experts, relationship experts, and with relationship content, not just related to romantic relationships, which is really the zone that we live in at the Date Maven, but to all relationships with friends, family, coworkers. All of those things have come under a lot of stress and strain this year because of the pandemic and because of a lot of the economic fallout that has resulted from that, and having kids at home and multiple generations under one roof, and just a lot of time in each other's faces, just getting on each other's nerves. So whether a person is single or partnered and in a long-term committed relationship, there is going to be a ton of information throughout this. And right now, early bird tickets are on sale for only $49. That is a freaking steal, because any one of these 20 or so individuals, you would pay far more than that for an hour of their time. And my co-coach Michael and I will be talking about our unique proprietary power dating program with power openings, power mindset, power communication, power flirting, power texting. It's really about being empowered and having some best practices and some tactics that are proven and successful in the long run for how to really build a connection and elevate that feeling of attraction between yourself and someone who's caught your eye, the object of your affection, as it were. So again, that's Saturday, I think the 21st. And I do have information about how to register over on the Date Maven Facebook page, as well as in our e-bulletin for those who are reading that. And if you're not getting that, just drop me a note and I'll make sure that you get those bulletins. And I think, tickets, early bird tickets are available through the 5th. So through this week, and then prices go up just a little bit. But even once they bump up, they are still a heck of a deal just for all the information that people can access. And honestly, it's all for a nonprofit. The people who launched this conference, they are very passionate about helping people to understand how their attachment style, which is something that kind of gets formed in our childhoods and we typically carry into our adult relationships, how that impacts us not only in our romantic lives, but also with our children. It impacts how we parent. It impacts the way we relate to the people in our household. And if we can kind of overcome some of the limitations that may have happened for us because of our early childhood interactions with our caregivers, we can just be better parents. We can just be better people. And so they're trying to make that information available, and it's for a nonprofit that supports that effort.
Sounds amazing. And so with that idea twist there at the end of it also impacts parenting styles, would you say the conference, like, because you're more of like dating matchmaking, so you work with a lot of singles, would this also be that would be good for couples to come to learn about relationship mastery and parenting and things like that?
100%. Yeah. In fact, I would say probably the majority of the presenters kind of have that breadth and depth of being able to speak to couple issues and challenges. And there are just a few of us who are kind of in that singles lane of really having that type of expertise.
Awesome. Well, that's super exciting. I put on the screen, this is Suzanna Mathews everywhere. Her branding is the Date Maven. So you can go to thedatemaven.com, or if you go to Facebook or Instagram, she is the Date Maven. And so you can connect with her there to find out about things that she offers. I highly recommend being on her email list. I am. And then I got to attend. She offered a free group coaching thing the other weekend, and I popped in. It was great content. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So definitely connect with Suzanna. And then something I like to ask every guest here in season 2 is, what are your daily non-negotiables?
Oh, my daily non-negotiables. Well, girl, just try to get between me and my meditation time. Good luck. I'm a daily meditator, near daily. That's been a practice of mine for a couple of years. It's one of the few things in life where I said, I really suck at this and I'm going to just stick with it anyway. Usually when we're bad at something or something kind of frustrates us, or, you know, we don't feel like we're making the progress we want to make, we just give up and we toss it aside. And for whatever reason, I decided I wasn't going to do that with meditation. So that's my daily non-negotiable, morning and evening. It really helps me to rest and refresh and center and just kind of handle the psychic sludge has been my word of the day. You know, there's been a lot of that in 2020. So it helps me handle the psychic sludge of existence.
I love it. Do you, because I'm in the camp of, I know I should do it, I want to do it, but I can't quiet my brain, and I tried it. And do you have certain like apps or tools that you would recommend?
Yes, I love Insight Timer. And it's free, but I like, if I come across a really good meditation, I like to make a donation to the person who created it, because I just feel like that's, you know, they're putting out a gift and they're blessing people with this. And so it's, I want to say thank you. I want to give gratitude. So you can find, you know, free options on it. But, you know, I just feel like, because I want to practice abundance, right? I don't just want to take, I want to give too. So Insight Timer is one you can download onto your phone. And I know there are others as well, but that's kind of been the one that's been tried and true for me.
That's awesome. Thank you. I'll make sure to put that as a in the show notes as well. Okay.
But can I ask you, if it doesn't put you on the spot too much, what's your daily non-negotiable?
I have to do my gratitudes every day. Even if I get rushed and I don't do it in my exact time where I like to do it, later I'm like, what is wrong with me? And then I'm like, I didn't do my gratitudes. And then I'll quickly do it on a sticky note. So that is, as someone who's always struggled with depression and anxiety and is in a high stress job right now, if I don't stay on top of that, like, it's not gonna be good.
You know, I think we all have a lot of stress right now, and it's okay to own that. You know, people often say to me, "Oh, you have such a fun job," and I'm very grateful to get to do what I do, because getting to be a part of people's love lives and, you know, see them make connections and grow as individuals, and, you know, sometimes marriages and babies happen, and that's all awesome. But there is a stressful component even to being a coach or a matchmaker. And so, you know, just really giving each other some grace that we are all in kind of a stressful existence right now. It is a time to give each other and ourselves a lot of compassion and a lot of grace.
Yes, I 100% agree. Now more than ever. It's always been there, but yes. So wonderful. This has been so fun. Any other last tips before we kind of wind it down?
You know, I am someone who could keep you up all night talking dating tips, but you probably want to sleep and, you know, live a normal life. But I will say that if anything that I shared this evening kind of got you tingling in your toes a little bit, or sounded intriguing, I'd love to give away a little bit of my time. Anyone who would like a free 15-minute consultation call with me by phone, I just send me your email, message me your email, and we'll get that set up. And we may not be able to solve all the world's dating problems in 15 minutes, but we will sure get you some traction on one or two that are kind of perplexing and aggravating you.
That's awesome and very generous. Thank you so much.
My
Yes, wherever you are watching or listening from, reach out to Suzanna Mathews at any of her social media or email for the Date Maven, and let her know you heard her on the Create a Life You Love podcast. And you want to take a 15-minute consult call. That would be awesome. Yes. And then, as always, I am also offering a 15-minute clarity call. And just go to, getting it on the screen, calendly.com/Khalil for Create a Life You Love /15. And I can also just message you link or whatever if you get in touch with me or email, and we'll jump on the phone for 15 minutes on Zoom and dig into whatever you want to dig deeper into.
Nice.
So awesome. Well, this has been a delight. I always love connecting with you, and definitely send Michael positive vibes since he is not feeling well and was unable to join us this evening.
I will. And, we ought to make this like a regular thing, like every season, just one of us will be on your show.
I love it. Let's make that happen. We just put it in the universe. We're going to make it happen. Thank you so much. So for anyone listening, if you have not already signed up for the Ditch Your Never Ending To-Do List 3-day boot camp, it is kicking off this Saturday, November 6th. And we're going to re-examine how we view all the things that just constantly keep getting thrown at us and keeping us from spending the time on what really matters to us. And so you can get all the details in the link in the show notes. And yeah, check it out if that sounds like something that you are needing in your life right now, as all the things are thrown at us from all the directions. Awesome. Well, it's been amazing. And everyone go connect with Suzanna, the Date Maven.
Thank you so much for having me. You're always such a gracious hostess.
Absolutely. Thank you, everyone. Have a
Bye.